And welcome back to the Hot. We are talking all the news coming out of Imola practice. Ferrari very frustrated. Max, I guess he can join the frustrated club. McLaren looking somewhat ominous, but there is hope they won't have it all the way potentially. Let's talk about it. So this is the top 10 for practice 1 for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix classification, tweeted by WTF1. Now the reason why I want to show you guys this is retweeted by WTF1. So as we know, Oscar Piastri fastest, Lando Norris second. Now interestingly, Lando Norris, it was his second lap on what is those very soft tyres, the softest tyres we've had in F1 since we had the ultra soft and hyper soft, remember them? And Lando did it on his second lap, so by the by, but Carlos Sainz third. I mean, George Russell fourth, Lewis Hamilton fifth. Now, what's amazing is those top 5, less than 10th. Amazing. Pierre Gasly 6th. So in 7th, let me cast your eye on 7th place, where it's a certain Franz HERMANN, who is about 3.5 tenths off. No, that was Max Verstappen. I don't know who did that, but if that went on the main TV feed, amazing. Alexander Albon in 8th, Gabriele Bortoletto in 9th, and Nico Hülkenberg in very much in 10th. And it was Piastri by a whisker at the top for practice number 2. So Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, once again, very, very close. Pierre Gasly in 3rd. Now, the Alpine are looking good, but it always makes me wonder how many people have had their engines played down, etc. George Russell 4th. Now, that 4 tenths off doesn't look particularly great, but I do think Mercedes are going to be, at least the Mercedes in the guise of George Russell, potentially the closest combatant to the two magnificent McLarens. 6th is Charles Leclerc, Ferrari really struggling, we'll get into that in a second. 7th, Yuki Tsunoda. 9th, Alexander Albon, he's about 6 tenths off at this point. 10th, Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton about 6 tenths off when, in terms of his teammate, a couple of tenths maybe. Oliver Behrman 12th. I think for the Haas, that's fairly solid for Oliver Behrman. 13th, debutant Franco Colapinto. Well done. I mean, people will be like, oh no, he's half a second slower than Gasly. But I think for his first Friday practice, that's not too bad at all. He was, though, getting in the way of a few people. 14th, Fernando Alonso. 15th, Liam Lawson. 16th, Gabriele Bortoletto. 17th, Lance Stroll. 18th, what was going on there? Kimi Antonelli, who seemed to be struggling. 19th, Nico Hülkenberg. Last but no means least was Esteban Ocon. Now, Isaac Hadjar had a bit of an offer as well, but he's comfortably faster, nearly by half a second than his teammate Liam Lawson. Now, when we look at the data, this is what's interesting and fairly sad for Ferrari. This is the first thing that will raise eyebrows for Ferrari, in spite of the fact that they were rumoured to bring upgrades. So Ferrari was less than a tenth and a half faster than last year. Think of that. Alpine have made the most progress when you look at the chart here, but Ferrari less than a tenth. I mean, what on earth is going on here? And Racing Bulls, everyone's improved by half a second or more, other than Ferrari a tenth and a half, with Alpine the most. Williams 1.2, Haas 8 tenths, and then McLaren 8 tenths. Bear in mind, they had a chance of winning this race last year with Lando Norris, who was really hunting down Max Verstappen. But all the other teams fairly reasonable. And then you've got the amazing Alpine and Williams, and then you've got the disaster that's Ferrari. What is going on there? It's just not particularly good, and this is maybe why both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc were complaining about their brakes. Lewis was talking, these damn brakes, mate. I mean, whenever now I read a Lewis Hamilton quote on paper, I just hear it in his voice because of the way he talked. These damn brakes, mate. These brakes are a problem. But it wasn't only Lewis Hamilton, also Charles Leclerc saying the brakes in mode warm-up are horrendous, mate. It's not braking. Now, you need good brakes at Imola. You're going to need very good brakes in about 4 races' time in Canada. But good brakes in Imola, you need confidence on the brakes. And someone like Lewis Hamilton, he makes so much time up. He's one of the best people when he's got it, when he's happy on those brakes. And it's going into the corner, braking into a corner where Lewis makes all his time. And Ferrari, just not good at all. So this was Flavio Briatore. Autosport pointed this out in relation to Colapinto's 5-race deal. So Flavio, this was on the 7th of May. He said, we've come to the decision to put Franco in the car alongside Pierre for the next 5 races. Fair enough, you may think. But Flavio Briatore then on the 16th of May, I read somewhere that Franco will have 5 races, but no, there's no limit on his races. Yeah, you read it because on the 7th of May, you silly sausage, you ended up putting it putting it out there by saying it. I mean, this guy's a complete joke. I don't think he should be in Formula 1. Goodbye, Flavio. Luckily, he's not officially the Alpine boss, as we mentioned the other day. It was, I forgot the name, but it definitely was someone else. Now, this is Max Verstappen. It was not only Ferrari frustrated with the car, it was Max Verstappen. Here we go. So you can see, you'll see him in a minute, banging on his wheel as he comes up. There's his head. It's not really a bang. It's just sheer frustration. When you look at his wheel there, and then he's just like, you know, gosh darn, bang on the wheel, which means obviously he's frustrated. He's human. I completely understand. His car is not as fast as he wants it. It's not too bad. I mean, he's won a race this year, unlike a lot of other people, with hard work. Normally, though, I don't think the Red Bull is consistently the third or fourth worst car. I think consistently it's been the second best car. And what Red Bull normally end up doing overnight is absolutely amazing, because they work on that car and they make a big changes overnight to the point where he can fight for pole. We've had it at quite a few races. So don't, Fat lady's not singing yet when it comes to Red Bull and Imola. So the qualifying simulation pace. What do we think? Well, it's very much McLaren on top, Red Bull second, and Mercedes third, but they're very close to each other. So in spite of Max Verstappen getting frustrated, I think that was Q1. There we go. Williams though, and Alpine ahead of Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari about 4 tenths off. That's got to, absolutely has to raise a few eyebrows. Fred Vassar's already been like, oh no, it's Fred Vassar, he's not going to lose his job. I mean, Ferrari would be absolutely silly to change it at this point. It's kind of like a rebuilding phase. If we were talking like this and it was 2026, 2027, maybe you've got a point. But I think at the moment he's kind of fairly safe, if I'm honest. And obviously kick Sauber at last. But then when we look when we look at the race pace, this is also slightly concerning if you are a Ferrari fan, because yes, you are faster than Alpine and Williams, but still you're very much in fourth. Whereas McLaren, Mercedes, I mean 800ths, that's almost in the margin of error or a good strategy. And I also think Red Bull, given a well-timed safety car, may well be in the hunt, but you've got to think Ferrari probably not. It does show Ferrari as the fourth fastest car. They did not come to Imola to be the fourth fastest car. I don't think so. Ferrari, massive issues there with their braking. The rear of the car is not looking particularly good. They have a lot of work to do overnight. But I think ultimately, hopefully, they'll find something. I'm gonna have my fingers crossed, because obviously, you don't want to upset the Tifosi, because it means very bad headlines the next day. Anyway, I am. Other than that, if you can, please give us a subscribe. That'll be absolutely amazing. If you're not, if you just made it to the end, thank you so much. You make it worth it. You make it worth doing. If you do want to help, hit that like button. But until then, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and speak to you soon.